Fort Hartsuff, southeast of Burwell in Valley County, celebrates 150 years this weekend, and you're invited to the big celebration. Michaela Clemens, the Park Superintendent at Fort Hartsuff, joining us now for more. Michaela, how did Fort Hartsuff come to be, and what do you think makes it stand out when compared to other forts?
Hi, Paul. Sure. Fort Hartsuff, they began building it in about September 1874, and at the time, Nebraska was a really new state. The region in the North Loop Valley was just being settled, and so the post was built to really protect the new homesteaders and the allied Pawnee from hostile native tribes in the area. Now, Fort Hartsuff was a pretty typical compared to other forts of the area, but what really makes it stand out now is that many of the buildings were built from a limestone concrete mixture we call grout. And that grout weathered better than a lot of the wood buildings and other posts. And so we have what are considered 9 original buildings still standing today, and they have been heavily restored and staged. And so it is like stepping back in time when you come out to Fort Hartsuff now.
The 2-day celebration of Fort Hartsuff's 150 years includes everything from 1870s military and civilian reenactments to events for everyone in the family. Michaela, why do you think it's so important to remember our past?
For Fort Hartsuff, as a military post, it really only lasted about 7 years. And as soon as they started to build it, they realized that much of the conflict was further west and further north. So Fort Hartsuff became a social and economic center for the region. At the same time, a lot of civilians actually built this military post. There was a huge grasshopper plague and crops failed, so the homesteaders were looking for work. And so there was this amazing coming together of the military and the civilian community. And I think that's a lesson we could really learn today, is how important community building is and how important our communities are in our regions around us.
For the events Saturday at Fort Hartsuff, Michaela, what are some of those unique and biggest events that run all the way from 10:30 in the morning through 10 that evening?
There's so much going on. It's hard to even pick and choose. But one of the things I'm really excited about is we're having a speaker's tent and speakers that are going to go the majority of the day on Saturday. And some of those are just some stories that we really haven't heard before. We have Jerome Kilsmall, who's an Oglala Lakota elder from South Dakota. We have some speakers that are going to talk about women's roles at the fort. And so that's going to be a really fun thing just to get some different stories and perspectives. Saturday, there's going to be an evening candlelight tour. So even for people who have maybe been out to the fort before, to see it kind of at dusk or at night is going to be really exciting. And then people really love the artillery demonstrations, having those cannons go off, and we'll do a night shoot on Saturday night, which is really fun.
Ending the day with a big bang, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good way to go.
Right now we're talking with Park Superintendent Michaela Clemens and previewing the events of Fort Hartsuff's 150th celebration that's this weekend, southeast of Burwell in Valley County. Michaela, events continue Sunday from mid-morning through mid-afternoon. What is planned for some of those events?
Sunday's just going to be a fun continuation of the weekend. Again, more speakers, living history. People can tour the buildings, and there'll be little activities going on throughout the fort. But Sunday afternoon, we're really going to honor that 150th with a ceremony or dedication that'll happen on the parade ground. And again, have those artillery demonstrations, and we'll call an evening parade, which is like a military ceremony to lower the flag. At Fort Hartsuff on these event days, we fly a 37-star flag, so that was the 1874 time period.
Michaela, can we plan on finding some great food and also getting a chance to check out the gift shop at this weekend's Fort Hartsuff 150th celebration?
Oh, so much. So we've got some really fun souvenirs in the gift shop and ways that people can remember their time or their visit out here to Fort Hartsuff, and that's open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Saturday and 10 a.m. to 4:30 on Sunday. We've got food trucks, Grills Gone Wild, the Mexican Grill, and Scott's Fun Food. So if you want cotton candy and that sort of fun things, just to keep you going. And then Saturday afternoon, we're going to have a beer and a wine garden. So Scratchtown Brewery and Niobrara Valley Vineyards are going to come out. And how fun that'll be to be able to sip your beer or wine and watch the cannons go off.
You mentioned some good food and drink to wrap up that day. Now, Michaela, what is the cost to enjoy Fort Hartsuff's 150th, and do we need a park sticker?
You do. So we are a state historical park, so you need either a day pass or an annual park sticker for your vehicle, and we sell those here on site. And then there's also admission to get into the park. So that's $4 for ages 13 and up, $1 for ages 3 to 12, and we don't charge for anybody 2 and under. The fun thing about the weekend is that we're doing daily wristbands. So if you come out in the morning for something, just keep your wristband on and you can come back anytime during the day and not pay a second admission.
And Michaela, anything else you would like to add about this weekend's 150th celebration for Fort Hartsuff?
The only thing I would say is that if you're not able to come out this weekend, these buildings are just amazing, and they should be the showcase of the weekend, and you can see those throughout the year. And so if you're not able to come to the event, just come and find us. It's such a magical place.
You betcha. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Michaela.
Thank you.
That's Michaela Clemens, Fort Hartsuff Park Superintendent, talking about Fort Hartsuff celebrating 150 years. Events run from 10:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday from 10:30 to 4. For more, you can go to OutdoorNebraska.com. That's OutdoorNebraska.com. And search for Fort Hartsuff's 150th. I'm Paul Perkins on the Rural Radio Network.